Yo, today we're going to be reviewing the SledTred by the Tib Bar guy. First and foremost, I am unaffiliated, so any links you see in my description, I get no kickbacks from any of those. But with that, con to me is a pro to you, because you'll know that you are getting an honest review out of this. And I'll be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get started with what this can be used for real quick. Before we move forward, you should know that my height is 5 feet 11 inches and I weigh around 250 pounds. I vary about 2 pounds day by day. So you might be taller than me, but there's no way you're heavier. Anyway, here's all the exercises you can do. As I go through these exercises, I do want you to be aware that they do a little bit of a scammy thing, which I'll mention later, but here's everything you can do. Starting with glutes, we got the sled push. Sprinting, walking, hip thrust, and barbell hip thrust. For quads, we have backwards walking, a split squat, and a couch stretch. Going to chest, we have push-ups, plate-loaded dips, and band-assisted dips. For lats, we got chin-ups, plate-loaded pull-ups, and band-assisted pull-ups. For abs, we got sit-ups, leg raises, hanging leg raises. For obliques, we're looking at ab rotations or Russian twists, side planks, and Copenhagen's. For hammies, we're looking at Nordics. I really struggle with Nordics, so forgive me. Band assisted Nordics, decline Nordics, and hamstring stretch. And then looking at forearms, we just got hangs. I guess they didn't want to call it dead hangs. I call this dead hangs. So you saw the exercises, you're still kind of on the fence. Is this for me? Is it not? Is it a waste of money? Blah, 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 blah. As for who I think it's for, if you need some physical therapy work or some rehab work, I think this is great for you. Calisthenics peeps, tricep dips, pull-ups, and then a cardio resistance thing. Can't ask for much more. As for me, I kind of have a bad knee at the moment. It's been just aching kind of like deep in there for some reason, and I bought this as a kind of solution to help me with that, because from everything I've seen, backwards walking resisted is pretty good, and I didn't want to get an actual sled and go up and down my street. I'm actually kind of a shy person, don't tell anybody, but for that I also like more of a resisted cardio. So I'm all right with rogue bikes and rowers, but I'm not like that fond of them. And ski ergs, no thanks. But like walking, I'm cool with. Ellipticals, love me ellipticals. But resisted walking, I kind of really liked it whenever I used it the other day. So this does seem like it's for me. I know that might immediately scare people off, but you know, gotta be honest, and I don't want to waste your time. If you're staying, I hope you like the content. If you do, give me a like at some point. Come on, support the channel. Now let's get into delivery. Packaging condition. Honestly, somewhat wrecked, but it does weigh over 140 pounds in the package, so it does make some sort of sense. As for equipment condition, it was somewhat scratched, but nothing bad, and I barely noticed anyway. Plus, the little scratches here and there don't matter much because of attachments, which I'll talk about in a sec. Instructions. Are the instructions easy? Yeah, there's just a lot of them to follow. How is assembly? Assembly sucks, especially since some holes were misaligned, and I've even seen that same complaint on Reddit. How long does it take? 2 hours. And it wouldn't have taken as long if I used my tools, but I decided to use their tools instead. Which leads me to, does it come with all the tools you need? Yes, it does. And if you wanted to use your own, you're only gonna need like a couple wrenches or sockets and Allen wrenches or 6-point bits. Getting into specifications. Starting with dimensions, this thing is 65 inches tall without the pull-up attachment, but with it, it's 86 inches tall. It is also 67 inches long with the sled down and 52 inches with the sled up. It is also somewhat narrow, which I rarely saw in other reviews, being 28 inches wide. Other dimensions of interest would be the pull-up bars being 40 inches wide, the tricep dip bars being 26 inches wide, and the actual sled itself being 53 inches long by 14 inches wide. Very narrow. The max load the power tower can handle is 400 pounds. And the max weight that the SledTred can handle is 300. The actual weight of the entire SledTred itself is 135 pounds without the attachments. There are 12 total settings on this. 4 can be adjusted here, and then 3 more right here. This dial on the side makes these 4 adjustments very easy, whereas the 3 adjustments under the SledTred are just a tad bit more difficult to adjust, especially when adjusting from right on the flywheel to further away because the magnets are somewhat powerful. The SledTred can be set to 2 different angles, 0, which is flat, and 7 degrees, which is an incline if you're walking forward on it, or a decline if you're walking backwards on it. They do advertise that this at max resistance simulates a 300-pound sled drag. I do have to talk about this because no one else is harping about it enough. And that is the knurling on the pull-up. I get that they're probably making this for more average gym goers, so they might not care about knurling, but I want it to freaking scratch me up. And I would rather have my Rogue Rack powder coating than have this knurling. It is very passive. And the outside is the best. Everywhere else, it just gets more and more passive. So they do have this listed as a built-in computer. And I guess, because it like computes your distance, but it's more of a measurement tool. It tells you distance in feet or miles and times you as you're doing them. But they're not just helping you stretch your hamstring and quads, they're helping themselves stretch the truth, because I would not call this a computer. It is pretty cool though, because it lets you set goals for any one of these categories. So you could put in enter and then make it time you for 5 minutes. And then once you get started, the time will just start counting down. And then it's tracking everything else. And then feet, same thing. It goes in intervals of 10 feet. And then for any one of these, whenever you do reach your goal, it does notify you by beeping a lot. And then just reset to set the next goal. I'll have to update you guys later on what I think after a few weeks or months of usage. But after having it a few days, I do think that this is a good addition overall to my gym. It just does some things not so well. Like, I don't think I would have gotten the top portion of this. They do charge like an extra $100 or so. I do want to mention that while it is stable for forward and backwards, I can barely move it. It isn't as stable for side to side. When I mentioned earlier that it's a little bit scammy how they list their exercises, it's primarily because they kind of double dip on most of the exercises. Like sled push, sprinting, walking, that's all just SledTred. Then looking at the hip thrusts versus barbell hip thrusts, they're the same, it's just one's weighted. And then anytime they say, just free weight or plate loaded or band assisted, they're all the same exercise, just a different variation. They didn't exactly say a tricep dip, just like body weight, but plate loaded and band assisted, same. Pull-ups, plate loaded and band assisted, same. I'm actually surprised they didn't try and stretch the truth with pull-ups and chin-ups, because they could have said something like you have 15 different variations of pull-ups and chin-ups. There's 5 different handholds, and with each one, you can do 3 different variations. Body weight, plate loaded, and band assisted. 15 different variations. Whack. And they even mentioned some stretches as if you could only do them on this, rather than just doing them straight up by themselves, like on the ground or something. Like, instead of a couch stretch on this, you could do it on a couch, per the name. As for some of the exercises that they didn't cover on their website, if you get their multi-step attachment, you can do step-ups. They've been including their multi-step attachment as a free gift if you buy the SledTred, but it is a victim of gymflation, and I'll be getting into cost here in a sec. Another thing you could do with the multi-step attachment is heel touches. I don't know if that's what they're actually called, but I saw Will Tennyson doing this with the knees over toes guy, not to be confused with the Tib Bar guy, but really good exercises for your quads and knees as well. As I mentioned the multi-step attachment, I want to mention previously when we were talking about the packaging and how little scratches here and there won't matter. It's because all the attachments are gonna scratch the living shiitake out of your SledTred. There's no UHMW plastic, no kind of foam, so it's straight metal on metal for all the attachments. And while the roller isn't too bad to put on the SledTred, the multi-step attachment is decently heavy, and they decided to put the pull pin on the bottom instead of the top, so it's pretty hard to put on. Definitely scratching it up. Moving right along into costs, the price of this has risen somewhat dramatically from last year, from $800 with the multi-step on Black Friday to now being $1,000 with a bunch of free gifts on Black Friday. But that is the base price. After shipping and taxes, I ended up paying a little over $1,200 for it, which is meh. I did buy this on Black Friday because I was supposed to get a bunch of extra free stuff, which I have yet to receive. But I did work it out with their customer service, and I should be receiving it by the end of November. Which, it's not too bad. It's cool that they owned up to it and that I will still be receiving that stuff. Whenever I do receive them, if you want to see a review on that, here's everything that it was supposed to come with. Let me know and I'll review all that stuff too. And if you guys want to see me compare this to something like the treadmill from Bells of Steel or the ATG backwards treadmill, then let me know in the comments. I can't really buy each of those and then compare them side by side. That's more of a Gluck or Coop thing. I'm not rich enough to do that. Not that they're rich. I mean, Coop might be. I don't know. Anyway, from a mental standpoint, I can compare all the specs and then see how this stands up to either one of those, price-wise, max cap-wise, versatility, so on and so forth. But I gotta see the interest, man. The comments help encourage me and keep me going. You better subscribe if you want in-depth till death reviews. And as always, stay hungry.